The artificial basin of Bilancino is located in the Mugello Valley, in the Tuscan-Emilian Apennine near Florence. Nowadays, the waters of the lake completely submerge the area of the prehistoric site. The site was a temporary seasonal camp, characterized by a lithic industry of Gravettian type, and dating back to about 28,000 BC. The site was located on an alluvial terrace along the Sieve River. It was discovered in 1990 and has been explored in two campaigns, in 1995 and 1996, both rescue excavations carried out in the connection with the building of the basin. The paleo surface was in an exceptional state of preservation. It was over 120 square meters, with 2 hearths and several concentrations of flint implements. The systematic registration of spatial data allowed the excavators to organize the whole database of the site for the elaboration with a GIS program. Each product of flaking, flint instruments, and debris was registered and described in the database according to its physical, typological, and technological characteristics, other than its spatial position, by taking the 3 geographical coordinates. The entire complex of the lithic industry is made up of 43,000 pieces of manufactured objects. Burins make up some 73% of the tools, and the majority of these are Noailles burins. The interdisciplinary studies indicate that Noailles burins were used for the separation of the vegetable fibers from cattle leaves, and has allowed us to propose a functional interpretation of the site as a seasonal camp dedicated to the exploitation of plant resources. On the living floor, not far from one of the hearths, 2 fragments of a sandstone pebble were found. These were used as grindstone and pestle grinder, respectively, as confirmed by use-wear analysis. The discovery on both grindstone and pestle grinder of starch belonging to different plant species like Tifa and Sparganium constitutes the earliest evidence of a technique used in the preparation of flour based on wild plants. An experimental study was carried out in order to verify the technique for using the grindstone and pestle grinder on the basis of ethnographic comparisons. Species belonging to the genus Tifa are rhizomatous perennial plants, typical of wetlands nearly all over the world, characterized by simple linear upright leaves. Cattail grows easily wherever the soil stays humid, at least during the vegetative period, and are able to colonize various habitats. The rhizomes, which can be kept for up to 22 months, are found between 8 and 10 centimeters below the substrate surface, and can grow up to 70 centimeters in length and about 2 or 3 centimeters in diameter. The rhizomes have to be peeled by hand before grinding, and the processing is easier if they are still humid. Then they are dried under sun, as suggested by ethnographic comparisons. On the contrary, the peeling of dried rhizomes is quite difficult. In order to produce flour from the cattail rhizomes, we use 2 fragments of sandstone of similar size and shape to those from Bilancino. We were able to show that it is first necessary to use the active tool, pestle grinder, like a pestle, for opening up the fibers, and then like a grinder to extract the starch. Flour obtained in this way is a fine, white beige powder with a slightly sweet aroma. The researches on Bilancino settlement have allowed us to demonstrate that the technical ability and the know-how relative to starch extraction for the production of flours and elaborate foodstuffs had already been acquired by hunter-gatherers in Europe about 30,000 years ago, at least from the Gravettian. The flour was then mixed with water in order to produce a sort of dough, and then baked over an experimental fire, similar to the Bilancino hearth B, an accurate structure with evidence indicating different phase of utilization. All the characteristics of hearth B, wooden types, morphology, temperature, etc., allow us to classify this structure as a domestic hearth. After about 20 minutes cooking on a sandstone pebble well heated on embers, we obtain some edible cakes. The availability of a foodstuff with a high energy content, rich in complex carbohydrates, easy to transport and preserve, offered a greater independence in critical situations of other food resources found on the territory, and consequently a greater possibility to move also long distances.